You may have dodged your legal troubles, but things will get much worse. There's still harmless phosphorescence. Hello everyone, this is Throw Smiley, and I was the sweetest guy before I fell into a vat of electric eels. Who's joining me this week?
Just Cece is on sabbatical, honey.
I'm Brian Lesh, Spider-Man's real best friend.
And I'm the web-headed war criminal, Alaric Weber.
Web-headed war criminal.
Josh,
if Eichmann was a Spider-Man.
Right? You sounded like Carol Channing there or something, Josh.
Well, I was trying to do whatever Dafoe
was doing. Yeah, no, he kind of sounded like Carol Channing too, I think. This is Harmless Phosphorescence.
That was a part of Norman's even in the original. Like, he would sometimes slip into strange character.
Oh my God. No, there's a reason that he's Willem Dafoe. This is the podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero ever made. We gather some research into the production and source material, and we tell you about it. This show is brought to you by our patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. You want to be a patron too? Go to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. We got lots of bonus stuff there. We just posted up our Dracula... or Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. That's the 1992 one. Yeah, that was fun to do. That one's with our friend Jerry. Brian was lame.
I had my own
trying to
private
make better his life
viewing of Sexy Dracula.
Glad
I'll also listen to the episode.
We'll be doing a new monthly movie every month, and $1 a month is all it takes for y'all to get access to that right now on Harmless Phosphorescence. This week we will be watching Spider-Man No Way Home.
Ever since I got bit by that spider, I've only had 1 week where my life has felt normal. That was when you found out.
When you botched that spell where you wanted everyone to forget the Peter Parker Spider-Man, we started getting some visitors. From every universe.
Hello, Peter. You're not Peter Parker.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Dr. Otto Octavius.
Wait, no, seriously, what's your actual name?
There are others out there. We need to send them back. So, Scooby-Doo this crap.
You know, all this is kind of your mess. I know a couple of magic words myself, starting with the word please.
Please, Scooby-Doo this crap.
You're flying out into the darkness to fight ghosts.
What do you mean?
They all die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate. I'm sorry, kid.
Yeah, me too.
Don't.
Look, there has to be another way!
There isn't. They're a danger to our universe.
You're not gonna take this away from me.
Peter, you're struggling to have everything you want while the world tries to make you choose.
This is all my fault. I can't save everyone. What's happening?
They're starting to come through, and I can't stop them.
December 17th, exclusively in movie theaters. Tickets on sale November 29th. Spider Monday.
Spider Monday. Spider-Man No Way Home.
Spider
They
Monday.
always gotta try and make it an event.
The best deals on electronics.
Not even the day the movie comes
Spider
out. The day
Monday.
you can buy the tickets.
I do prefer Spider Monday to Cockroach Tuesday.
Well, let's see. You got Black Friday. You got Small Business Saturday. You got Spider Monday. When spiders are on sale.
Spider-Man No Way Home. They really wanted you to go buy a ticket. Like, don't wait for streaming, please. God.
Like anybody was.
Yeah.
Waiting for streaming. Like, oh, I'll just wait and see.
Yeah, this is one of the ones that nobody was worried about. And this was during, like the Delta outbreak? People were like, we don't care. We have to see the Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, I feel like it was the biggest event since Endgame.
Absolutely.
So people were like, yeah, it was like, even if I hate it, I got to see it.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, Spider-Man No Way Home was released December 17th, 2021. It had a running time of 148 minutes. It cost $200 million, and it made $1.92 billion.
Wow.
Oh my God.
It was
This is top 10 grossing films of all time, right?
It is. It was number 6. Now it's number 7. Just in the last couple weeks, it dropped one thanks to thanks to Mr. Jimmy Cameron.
Nothing gets in the way of water.
Yeah, no one can stop James Cameron. Nothing gets in the way of the water.
Yeah. It's true though. It's like whether it's old water on a ship, new water.
It's like I can't stay out of the water, guys.
I'm silly for it.
So we're talking about the box office, guys. You want to play the box office top 10 game?
We do. You know we do.
Oh yes. I know. I don't know why I even ask anymore. This is the game where I will describe the top 10 movies of the week, and the guys are going to try to guess what movie I'm describing based on the box office mojo description. This is the week of December 17th, 2021, 1 year and a month ago. 13 months ago, guys.
Wow.
We're catching up fast.
I thought this movie had been around a little longer. I've watched it a lot. In a year and a half.
Yeah. Let's see. At number 10, we had Eternals, which we just did. I'm not going to ask you that one, but I will have you guess the number 12 movie. Number 11 was Clifford. We did that one last week, too. Number 12 this week. Set in 1998, this origin story explores the secrets of a mysterious place in an ill-fated city.
The Big Lebowski.
This is... I have no idea what number this is in the series. I've not watched any of these except for the first one, and they're all terrible, including the first one.
Is this a Purge?
Not a Purge. It predates Purge. It's not horror. Well, it's horror-esque. More action, though. Kind of action horror. Is
this Uncharted?
No. They've only made one Uncharted movie, but it is a video game. It is video game series.
Oh, Resident Evil?
Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City, where the grass is green and the raccoons are pretty.
Wait, is that the full title?
That?
It's called
Welcome to Raccoon City?
Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City.
Wow.
It's hilarious. Parks and Rec. Like the raccoons have their part of town, we have ours.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Welcome to Raccoon.
How did that make that out of a focus group?
Because
I love this. Go ahead. Sir.
Because they made like 9 of them, and they're like, people won't see them no matter what. What if we fuck with the title? Let's see what happens then.
I love that it's welcome to, not just Resident Evil Raccoon City.
Yeah, or like Death in Raccoon City. No, it's welcome
or
to
Escape from Raccoon City.
Yeah, none of that.
No, that's way more interesting than Welcome to Raccoon City.
It's just
Raccoon City Rotary Club.
There's trash everywhere. Eat at your heart's content. I don't know. What?
Yes. One of my favorite internet videos is in the internet video genres is raccoons trying to wash cotton candy because they wash their food. I've seen multiple videos of them being given cotton candy and trying to wash it and being like, where did it go? Oh no, it's all gone.
Oh my God.
They
That's
finally
so
stuffed
specific.
a raccoon.
At number 9 this week at the box office. When Patrizia marries into a family, her unbridled ambition begins to unravel their legacy and triggers a reckless spiral of betrayal, decadence, revenge, and ultimately murder.
When someone becomes a wife, do they officially become unbridled? Is that how that works? I don't know what the temporal status of being a bride.
I would think the opposite, because if
Yeah.
a horse is unbridled, they're free.
Yeah,
And now she's bridled.
so I imagine her ambition would be
Description makes no
would be
sense.
bridled. Yes, indeed.
Her unbridled, bridled.
And what's her name again?
Patrizia. Patrizia. She's an
Oh, no.
outsider from humble beginnings. This stars Jeremy Irons, Al Pacino, Jared Leto,
Oh,
Adam
this is
Driver,
House of Gucci.
and
I forgot
Lady
that was-
Gaga. Yeah, House of Gucci.
This is Jared Leto's, quite possibly his greatest performance.
Yes.
That voice is quite
He does
possibly.
a great job. I've seen him do a great job.
Just his
Before.
comedic. It is unintentionally hilarious. He's
Ridley Scott film. It
Yeah.
wasn't as good as I thought it would be, but it was pretty good.
Lady Gaga, right?
Drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's good.
Yeah, Lady Gaga is an all right actress.
She's good, man.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah, American Horror Story and
Oh, yeah.
I vote. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
a talented human being.
there's the When You Wish Upon a Star with Bradley Cooper.
Oh,
Bradley Cooper in the Tinkerbell story.
He plays Tinkerbell, obviously. She's Hook.
It's I want to see that more than I care to admit.
Cardi B is Peter Pan. I don't know. We could go on.
Cardi B.
She's like this wet ass pan.
And Lizzo as Shmi.
Wow.
Skywalker?
Let's write this screenplay.
Oh,
Wasn't that his
Shmi.
name?
Yeah, that's right. It was Shmi. Yeah. Okay.
Try and stop me.
At number 8 this week, in the early years of the 20th century, an agency is formed to stand against a cabal plotting a war to wipe out millions.
Oh, it's
I
the
don't-
Kingsman.
The King's Man.
Man. This
Yes.
was fun.
It was a prequel.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this one. I only saw the first one.
Yeah, it's better than the first one, I think.
Yeah, the first one was fun. I don't know. I've
It's-
heard the series is
I like-
generally pretty good.
Yeah, it's
It's
a
alright, yeah.
period piece, like a World War I lead up kind of thing. I
And
forget
that
the
like
guy's name.
historical technology kind of stuff. you know,
Yeah.
like-
Steam
A lot of the-
kind of.
Like if you really loved the scenes with Q and James Bond, which I always did, then they're a
Yeah.
whole movie of that kind of.
A little retro futuristic.
Right.
Yeah.
At number 7 this week, a grifter working his way up from a low-level carnival worker to a lauded psychic matches wits with a psychologist bent on exposing him.
Midnight Alley?
Nightmare Alley.
Nightmare Alley.
Nightmare Alley. That was, that movie was scarring in ways.
Felt like The Prestige.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, that is a good comparison. At number 6 this week, when a single mom and her 2 kids arrive in a small town, they begin to discover their connection to some legends and the secret legacy their grandfather left behind.
Wow.
You are muted, Mr. Al.
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Ghostbusters Afterlife. That's right. Movie I still haven't seen. I'm a little scared of it.
It's not bad.
It's cute.
You don't look at it as a like sequel to the other 2 movies.
It's good. I liked it.
I did too.
I'll get
And
to it.
Hulu kept making me want to. Hulu kept wanting to make me watch it after Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, I woke up after falling asleep to Ghostbusters because of Hulu.
Yeah, I love Hulu's autoplay where it's kind of random and you'll wake up to like a weird movie sometimes.
I turn autoplay off on everything except for Hulu because it's.
But it's one of those apps that will hang on, you know? Like some will just give up after a bit, turn themselves off.
No.
Hulu's like,
Hulu-
you're clearly watching 36 episodes.
I'll wake up 9 hours later and I'm like 6 episodes into something like Blackish and I'm like, I'm not watching this. Stop.
There's ad revenue to be collected, man. They're gonna get it.
Friday, I was casting Peacock to my living room TV. Then I left and took Ella home all the way downtown. I'm at Rosemont. She's at Stone. Then I got home, and it was still casting. Meanwhile, when I want it to, it won't when I'm a few feet away. But supposedly, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
That feels weird.
Fucking casting. Number 5 this week at the box office. This story explores forbidden love and the rivalry between two groups. Two teenagers of different backgrounds fall in love.
West Side Story.
West Side Story. Maria.
Right, exactly. See, that was Spielberg.
That was, yeah.
He's made perfectly good films, but nothing to be like, ooh.
Yeah, like the remake of West Side Story. Like, yeah, it's good. Like, I can see why you did this, and I appreciate it, but also, like, it's not blowing my socks off.
Well, no.
For context, before the show, we were talking about how The Fabelmans is the best thing that Spielberg's made in 20 years.
I can remember
Yeah.
that was on and off. Yeah, we're talking about the Fablemans.
Yeah. Yeah, this was the one he made right before. I mean, he lately seems he's really exploring like his youth and his roots because West Side Story was just one of his favorite movies and he always wanted to make a musical. So he did West Side Story, but and then the Fablemans,
why
of course.
not, you know?
Yeah. Like
you're an artist in your later years.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, what's funny is the Fablemans, apparently he said he wanted to wait, like he had this idea for a long time, but he wanted to wait until his father died, and his father lived until 2020 to the age of 103.
Yeah, what a mixed blessing that is.
Right? Do you imagine that at some point he was like, Dad, I've got a movie to make.
Oh,
Yeah.
Luckily you've lived long enough for Seth Rogen to be alive. Now let's do it.
Yeah.
Dad, I've got this movie I really want to make. I'm going to put you on DNR.
Oh,
Like,
man.
we're in a hospital. We can easily revive them.
Suddenly, this is a true
It's like,
crime podcast.
it's like, listen, I already called Paul Dano. I'm sorry. No, apparently Seth Rogen said, and he went to audition for that. He was like doing his Seth Rogen thing, like he was doing bits and stuff. He was like, "Oh, I'm funny, Uncle Benny," and Spielberg was like, "No, Seth, can you just act?" And he was like, "Oh, okay, I'll try."
Yeah, exactly. Maybe. I haven't tried it yet.
At number 4 this week, at the opening this week, at number 4. Interesting. That was lower than. Well, I mean, it was up against Spider-Man. Wow, that was a bad idea to put this against Spider-Man. Anyways, return to a world of two realities. One, everyday life. The other, what lies behind it. That's all I'm giving you. Anything more is just going to tell you.
Could I
the
have it
movie.
again?
Oh, return to a world of two realities. One, everyday life. The other, what lies behind it. This is one of our classic legacy sequels we've gotten that we always wanted, and then people are like, well, maybe we didn't want it after it came out. Big franchise. Big
Alien
franchise.
something?
Not Alien. It's
Terminator?
not Terminator. It is Terminator-esque though in some of its themes.
It's very Terminator-esque. You either are or aren't. A Terminator.
It almost sounds like Tron, but
It's almost Tron-esque too. It shares
Okay.
it shares things with Tron and Terminator.
I know that reboot was a lot earlier.
It's you guys are on the right track. It's the 4th in this franchise.
Fourth.
Franchise we may someday cover.
Transformer?
Not Transformers. I think there's more than 4. I don't know.
There's like
who
14.
can tell? Yeah, who can tell how many
There's a lot
Transformers
more.
there are? Some of the movies are
They're always transforming.
fever dreams. It stars Keanu Reeves.
Oh,
it's
it's the
the
fucking
Matrix?
Matrix.
Matrix
Yeah.
Resurrections. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Whoa, that makes perfect sense. Thank you for not telling us more detail.
Yes. Yeah. Anything else I would have told you after that? Like
This-
it was Mr. Anderson fights the machines, and yeah.
This opened against Spider-Man.
Why did they
Wow.
do that?
That is
Why?
incredibly ill-advised.
Yeah.
What
Incredibly.
did they think it was? 1999?
Right.
Like they
What
opened
did they think it was?
those movies didn't open against X-Men movies even, right? Like
No, I mean, well, and the first Matrix was a sleeper hit, like,
yeah.
but Matrix 2
yeah.
like opened big, but like everyone got out of the way of Matrix 2 because it was the big gorilla on the block in 2002 or 3 or whenever that was.
I really
don't
want to
wanna-
do the Matrix movies. I would enjoy that.
Ugh.
I would too, because you know what? I haven't seen the sequel, either of the 2
Oh, I-
sequels, in 20 years.
Oh, I watched them all in anticipation of the 4th one, and I'm glad I did. 'Cause
They're,
you need all 4 of them.
I think they're very interesting films.
I liked this last one. As much as everybody hated it, I enjoyed it thoroughly.
There were things about it I thought were interesting and good, and then there were things that I'm like, well, this is weird.
Yeah, there were large elements of it that were weird. But
At number 3 at the box office this week, a teenage girl has to face frustrations of being an outcast in her family. In the end, she comes to embrace her differences.
is this animated?
It is, yes. It's like every animated film ever made. That plot. It's a Disney. It was a big hit. It's a musical.
Oh, Encanto.
Encanto.
We don't talk about Bruno.
That's right. We don't talk about Bruno around here. Yeah, that was number 3 in its 5th week. That was a big hit.
I'm just gonna, because we're probably not gonna do animated movies like this. This is a Puerto Rican guy writing songs about Venezuelan folk tunes, and my Venezuelan friends were like, "Why though? Why Lin-Manuel?"
Ooh. Well, and the answer is
He
because
played
also-
Hamilton.
And I brought up, I was like, well, and he wrote Hamilton whole cloth himself, but like Moana, I was like, he was super
But-
involved with Moana, and he's from Puerto Rico, not from the Pacific even. So,
I mean,
Well, they could go back to old white dudes like they have for the last 50 years.
But I mean, there are a ton of songwriters in South and Central America that would have probably been just as good.
right, but none of
not
them
a
have
box
a
office
box
draw.
office drawn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
They needed Lin-Manuel Miranda to manage them, basically, to make it look like he was. It's
I
a
feel
whole
like
thing.
songwriters are allowed to be cross-cultural. I don't know.
But
I think
they
most
were-
artists are, but I
Yeah, they
don't
were
ask
heralding
me these
themselves
days.
as him being the perfect choice for it, and I'm like,
because he's
Latin America's not a
Yeah.
Name
monolith.
a
Ultimately, was there-
Venezuelan singer.
Oh,
Name one.
I can't, but Venezuelans can. People in South and Central America definitely can.
why,
Brazilians can.
why are we inundated with Britishness? Who knows?
At number 2 this week, Buster and his friends must persuade reclusive rock star Clay Calloway to join them for the opening of a new show. Oh my God. I know nothing about this movie or its previous one. It's a sequel. It is also animated. Apparently, it was highly anticipated. I know nothing about it.
It's the one with the animals singing, right?
Yes. You basically said the title there, almost, Al.
Sing.
Sing 2.
2.
Yes.
Okay.
Sing as well.
Sing also you. At number 1 this week. With Spider-Man's identity now revealed, Peter asks Doctor Strange for help. When a spell goes wrong, dangerous foes from other worlds start to appear, forcing Peter to discover what it truly means to be Spider-Man.
Spiders,
This is
man.
the
They're everywhere.
Spiders, man.
Yes. It's like Attorneys General. The Spider's Man.
We were Spider-Man. This is the Downton Abbey movie, right?
Yeah. That is our box office 10 for the week. Al, now there's a lot of characters in this, but Are there any we haven't talked about before for the character background?
No, I don't think so. I think it was pretty clean in that regard. Nobody else introduced.
What about the MIT admissions lady? Comic accurate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vice Chancellor.
Was Cristo Fernandez the bartender not from the comic books?
Danny Rojas.
I mean, there is a couple damage control agents.
Say we talked about damage control in the first one, right?
The first Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing. I don't think actor-wise either.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Gary Weeks played Department of Damage Control Agent Foster.
I mean, he chews up the scenery for the small amount of time he's in it.
Oh, you know what? Just occurs to me. Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
Well,
we did a Daredevil movie.
We haven't talked about
Ben
Charlotte
Affleck
Cox.
as Daredevil.
Okay, fair. Oh, I guess it was just like this
Charlie
actor.
Cox.
This version of Daredevil did previous.
Is this his first big screen appearance?
It is
in the Marvel universe.
Absolutely,
Okay.
it is. Yeah.
But you're right. We did have talked about.
And I wish in this movie he had turned to Jean Favreau and been like, "Didn't you play Foggy?
Right? Did you play?
Are you my best? Are you my best?
No,
friend?
that would have been hilarious if like he and Favreau had been, if he like just for a second he'd be like Foggy, Froggy.
It's funny because it's Foggy.
Yeah.
Foggy and Happy are two like sidekick characters with obviously kind of goofy names, and he's played both. It's just fun.
Yeah, Favreau. So all right. There's not a lot to talk about the production of No Way Home either. Obviously, this is the third in the MCU Spider-Man series. They had originally planned, or so they obviously they planned this out quite far back. The details got switched around. This was originally supposed to come out after Multiverse of Madness. But thanks to some sort of delay in 2020, I'm not sure what that was about. They had to switch some stuff around.
It ends up making more sense. I could see how this could easily have been after Multiverse.
Well,
but I think it's better setting it up.
One of the biggest things they had to do because it came out before was originally America Chavez was the one who was supposed to be doing the portals that Ned ended up doing.
Yeah, I think it's better this way. I love that the multiverse gets cracked open by a well-intentioned Peter Parker plan, as opposed to a cosmic badass just ripping. Like this kid meant well, and now he opened the multiverse.
Yeah,
well, I liked the glimpsing of the multiverse, the hinting at it before we actually get there and travel through all the different universes.
Yeah.
And that requires America having control over her powers to be able to open a portal within our multiverse or to another multiverse to get a Spider-Man. Like that's a lot of specific control compared to what she had.
And they set it up in this movie, whereas Steven hasn't tried to access the multiverse before, and there's just like conversations he's had with Wong and other sorcerers and shit. And so he seems as surprised as Peter, and then that makes sense for his movie in America and all that. It worked.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely worked. They definitely rolled with the punches and made it work. I don't know. Phase 4 gets a lot of crap from the public and the press in general for like not living up to the previous Marvel phases in a lot of ways. But I mean, considering it's a lot of that, Phase 4 was kind of a reset after Endgame. There was a lot of table setting. That we had a 3-year pandemic that happened during it all. I think it's fine what it is. It's big, it's messy. I mean, this was a there's a lot. This phase had a lot of stuff, including the TV shows.
screen time wise, there's more in phase 4 than the first 3 phases.
Yeah.
And there's always a peacetime period after a huge like Endgame event. There's a rebuilding period before you get going on a new world war.
Yeah, absolutely. And considering we just had the end of phase 4, Black Panther Wakanda Forever was the final phase 4 film. Ant-Man Quantumania is our first phase 5. It'll be.
And people don't realize that, Infinity Gauntlet and Endgame were so powerful because we lost characters we had loved and had taken a long time to establish. Those characters are gone, so they have to establish new characters, which phase 4 has done.
Right. Well, and let's honestly.
How are you going to have secret wars without introducing anybody?
Right. And also phase 1 was just as messy. There were just a lot fewer films. And in retrospect, like we kind of put a lot of like they retconned a lot of stuff like to make those early movies look better than they actually were at the time they came out.
Right.
Well, and that's definitely going to happen to phase 4.
Absolutely.
They pretty much made that obvious with Kang saying like, all of this, I planned it. I think that we will see that all of phase 4 has a connecting thread that we're unaware of.
Absolutely.
I think so. I think it's going to have a lot to do with those Kang rings. I was watching the Quantumania trailers at the slowest speed, and they look just like the bangle that Kamala Khan has. They look like the 10 rings. They also have those rune like engravings on the inside of it, like we're in Wondergore, where the Scarlet Witch went, and the Darkhold. That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all they're going to retcon a lot of it.
Absolutely.
Thank goodness. That's what comic books do.
What they do best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the convention that we're in. Westerns are Western,
So just real fast, this was directed again by John Watts. He was supposed to direct the upcoming Fantastic Four movie, but he said he had enough superheroes and he dropped out of that. Because basically he made 2 really small indie films, and then he's been making Spider-Man for like 8 years now. So he was like, I've had enough, guys. But written by Chris McKenna and Eric Summers, both of whom we've talked about before. They had writing credits on both the previous 2 Spider-Man movies. They came from Community. Our cast, we've all talked about everyone in the cast with one minor exception. Tom Holland's back as Spidey, one of the Spiders. Zendaya is back as MJ. Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. Jacob Batalon as Ned. Jon Favreau as Happy. Jamie Foxx reprising his role as Electro. Willem Dafoe back as the Green Goblin. Alfred Molina as Doc Ock. Benedict Wong as Wong. Tony Revolori as Flash. Marissa Tomei as May Parker. Andrew Garfield as the Amazing Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire as Spidey 2. Spider-Man 2. Peter 2. Reese Funds. I haven't said his name in a while. Reese Vons as Dr. Kirk Connor's Lizard. Thomas Hayden Church as Flint Marko. I forgot that he actually made it on screen at the end.
Which is a choice that I think makes sense.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Yeah, but that turn right before he fades away back to his own universe, I swear that was stock footage. I swear that's from I don't know.
You might be right. It is a weird moment.
Him and
the way he turns and the look on his face, it's just exactly I don't know. I feel like they took that shot.
Him and Reese Fons, I'm positive they were never on a set for this movie. They were like, yeah, CGI me.
They filmed it in a bathroom at their home for reference, probably.
Because even Connor's, it's a very tight close-up shot on his face when he turns. Then we see him a little bit, but just shoulders up.
Right.
I think they used footage there. It's like the Gwyneth Paltrow.
I think they used footage from
was in that
Wings on that.
Spider-Man movie. I know exactly.
But the one, like we were talking about, the one big we technically have Tom Hardy as Venom. The one that actor we haven't spoken about before, who is worth noting, is Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock. He, of course, was playing Matt Murdock, Daredevil, in the Netflix one, which is now the Disney Plus one.
And in She-Hulk.
And he's in She-Hulk. Yeah, She-Hulk.
She-Hulk? Oh my God, I wish that was
She-Hulk, yeah. He, probably the first place I saw Charlie Cox was Stardust, which is a great movie based on the Neil Gaiman graphic novel. He was in The Merchant of Venice in 2004. He's an English dude. He played Judge John Dee, or he was in Judge John Dee playing the young vicar, which is, I assume, something British.
The most British thing ever.
The young vicar.
I saw him in, what was it, Treason? As a Netflix thing that just came out recently. It was fine in that, perfectly cromulent.
Yeah.
His accent wavers more than any British actor I've ever seen. When he's playing a British person, sometimes he sounds like an American, and it's really weird to my brain.
Huh.
He also looks like he's blind. Sometimes he stares off into the middle distance, and I think, is he still playing a blind guy?
Some of his other film roles include Hello, Carter, in which he played Carter. The Theory of Everything. And Dracula Untold, in which he played Caligula.
Weird.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Because when I think of Charlie Cox, I think of like Roman orgies.
Yeah.
He was in Boardwalk Empire. He played Ishmael in a Moby Dick miniseries from 2011. Weird. He will be in the upcoming Echo series. He does a voice in Spider-Man Freshman Year, the upcoming animated series, and he will, of course, star once more as Matt Murdock in Daredevil, Born Again, in which he travels to Texas and becomes a Southern Baptist.
Born. He's an evangelical. Yeah, that meme or that tweet is pretty hilarious. In Echo, how are he and Echo going to communicate?
Right. And of course, rounding out our cast, we've got J.B. Smoove back, Martin Starr, J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson.
Hannibal Buress in there with Martin Starr. And
yeah.
J.B. Three of them are just
and Hannibal Buress, yeah. Martin Starr, Hannibal Buress, and J.B. Smoove are awesome as usual. That's about it. And Marissa Tomei as May Parker. No, I said her. Yeah, so that's about it. There's not much else. We've talked about all these people many times. We ready to jump into? Or no, wait.
Did we give our boy J. Jonah Jameson a little bit of love? Because this is his first real, appearance.
I mean, yes, his first MCU real appearance. Yeah.
Yeah.
And J.K. Simmons, this dude was born to play J. Jonah Jameson like nobody.
And this might be the best interpretation.
That thread. Yeah, I think so.
The
Alex Jones type Infowars.
Yeah, it's such a good way to update this character.
Well, because in previous movies he's been yelling at his staff.
Mm-hmm.
Now he is just yelling into the void, and we get to watch it on big screen.
Because isn't that journalism now?
Yes.
It used to be Daily Planet, Daily Bugle. There was the bullpen, stop the presses kind of. That vibe is gone now.
Yeah, he would have no power.
Pop culture and
the editor of a newspaper is no longer. The public
controller of information.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this is perfect.
And
way
the
to update him.
The Bugle is still a paper.
It's the name of his
universe, also, right?
Is
Well,
it?
I guess in the Venom universe, because that's
He
who
calls his
Brock
podcast, or he
writes
calls
for.
his YouTube show the Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
Because Eddie Brock wrote for a San Francisco outlet for the Daily Bugle, I guess.
He's just putting
But
Daily
in this
Bugle
one-
on a lot of things. He even puts it on the supplements. The
That's true.
Daily Bugle supplements.
Daily Bugle
So, I mean,
branded
it's
coffee mugs.
InfoWars. It's Joe Rogan InfoWars type modeling.
Yeah, exactly.
And we had discussed the first time we saw him in Far From Home that in the comics the character had evolved in this way as well.
Cool. Yeah, it makes most sense for comics.
Yeah,
like
just updating a character that's 50, 60 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
well, the medium that he's in
Yeah.
is the update.
Yeah.
Character's still the same. Rawr!
Yeah, true.
So I've got a few Letterboxd reviews here. Bubby the First writes 3 Spider-Men, 5 stars.
Agreed.
Thiam writes a man-child's fantasy, 5 stars.
I love when it takes that left turn. It's like that's not a critique.
No, it's not.
It's like that's what I am, and this is what I like.
A lot of truth in that simple statement.
Legend and Fraud writes Tom Holland is a Browns fan. He can go to hell. Half a star. I don't know if that's true or not. He's English. I don't know if he knows what the Cincinnati Browns are.
Yeah.
Are they in Cincinnati now?
alone.
I think they've moved around a few times, haven't they?
They're asking the wrong group of people.
No, they never were. They're the Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns.
Cincinnati Bengals. that's
Right, but no, but I thought they moved from Cleveland.
Well, they
to
may
Cin-
have.
I don't know. I can't remember. I can't keep track. I don't watch NFL.
The Browns moved to Baltimore and became the Ravens, and then they restarted the franchise in Cleveland.
That's crazy. They're like, we're losing our team. They're changing their name, and then we're just going to start the team over again. Like, that's
But
some
you
law.
can't change the Redskins. You can't change that.
No, but that's some Law and Order level
That's a
like
legacy.
franchising.
Yeah, totally.
And
What are the Redskins now?
they're still the Redskins.
No, they changed.
They're the
Oh, they did. That's right.
Capital. No, not the Capitals. The Senators, I think.
No, that's a separate.
Now, maybe I'm
So-
thinking hockey. I don't
For
know.
a while, they were the Washington football
The
players.
Commanders, the Washington Commanders.
Commanders.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Yep, Commanders.
Yeah.
But you still find that out by typing in Redskins.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
No, I know, but it's just funny.
It was wild looking at the half-star reviews for this because it's just people like, some of them were like, I love the MCU, but not this. It's like, what? Like,
Yeah.
what? I don't understand. If you like, I understand if you hate superhero movies, if you hate the MCU, I understand. All right. I don't know why
Right.
you're watching like the 22nd MCU movie. Like that seems
Right.
weird, but
I don't like Spider-Man. There were too many Spider-Men in it.
yeah, okay, I understand giving it a half-star review, but again, why you're watching it, I can't get. But if you like the MCU and you like superhero movies, like this one you think is bad,
It didn't have Superman or Batman in it. I don't understand how this movie can be considered good.
Yeah.
Post-credit.
I think that those
jokers.
people still exist. Like, that just don't know the dividing line, and if it doesn't have the thing they wanted, they're
Yeah.
automatically upset. Stupid
Yep.
people are out there. There's a lot of them. Not saying that
I
not
have
knowing about
noticed.
comic books makes people stupid, but sharing their opinions about things they don't know about
Yeah.
makes
Well, there's still, and it never went away from society, but the people who will buy the books and albums just to burn them.
Yeah.
It's like nobody. You spent the money already, dumbass.
You know, millennials have really killed the the album and book burning industry by going streaming, by going digital.
That's why I smash or burn a computer once a year.
Yeah. I saw a headline the other day that said millennials are getting mad because boomers are hating Gen Z now more than them, which led me to like the logical conclusion of Gen Z is killing the millennials are killing industry.
I'm not mad about it, but as somebody who's a millennial, somehow millennials are still considered Gen Z. It's you're still young, so you're the youngest generation kind of thing.
I mean,
I'm almost out of that phase of my life, but
They
I still
think
get
we're
it.
still the same. They still look at us the same way.
no.
The boomers still look at Gen X's children.
No. Gen Z thinks that we're boomers, and boomers think we're Gen Z. Like,
right? It's like I'm trying to understand woke bullshit too. Please, Grandpa, can.
And millennials just want.
Some
We just want MySpace back. That's all. And AIM
man.
chat.
That's all we want.
That's
Remember
all I
how
want.
fun it was? Nice.
AOL chat rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those got creepy, but MySpace was so
those were
pure.
nothing but-
Just like, here's a song I like. Here's a GIF I like. What's
Yeah.
your name? Now Facebook's like dying of fire.
Yeah, I don't even understand what social media is anymore, because TikTok is considered social media, but like, is it? It's little YouTube. It's just tiny. It's just upright YouTube, right?
But YouTube is also social media.
Yes, everything
weird.
is social media.
Anything you can interact with strangers on is social, right?
I don't
life or
understand why
cyber.
LinkedIn needs to have stories. Like, fuck off.
my
Yeah,
God.
for real. My resume is enough, and maybe a photo shoot or a photo, not a
Photo shoot. Oh, please tell me that you like
I have
submit 4 headshots
series
in a
of
collage
yes.
to show your different like moods.
Yeah, I don't understand why MyFitnessPal has to have a feed. Like, fuck off.
I don't understand why food does. You know.
Okay, now
So-
I think I can make the argument we're all boomers because we're all complaining about shit that doesn't matter.
That's the thing that the boomers don't realize, is that we are that slight holdover. Like Thor said, they see us as, because we could hook a VCR up. We're supposed to know like coding now to these idiots. It's just like, no, we didn't have the internet, sir.
Yeah, no. Gen
It's
X.
like we are as confused at times.
No, Gen X was the generation that didn't have computers as kids, but got them immediately upon entering adulthood.
Okay, so I'm going to tie this all together, you guys. I'm going to do this
All right.
thing.
Okay.
So we have a Gen X Spider-Man, we have a Millennial Spider-Man, and we have a Gen Z Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Absolutely. You know what we don't have?
A Boomer
A
Spider-Man?
Boomer Spider-Man.
Is that
Importantly so.
The Boomer
Doctor
Spider-Man
Strange?
was the 70s one, whatever.
Oh, Japanese Spider-Man?
A Japanese Spider-Man.
Uncle Ben is Boomer Spider-Man.
Yeah, Marissa.
Tony?
Yeah.
Is Tony Boomer Spider-Man?
Robert Downey, I think, was a boomer. Yeah, technically.
Yeah. He's born in 65, right? That's the cutoff?
Yeah.
Oh, Robert Downey Jr., that is a Gen X dude.
He's a
Look
Gen
at
X, but was he born? I mean, I know he's
in
like.
all those John Hugh movies. Yeah, well, I think
I started
65 is the
Googling
cutoff,
Robert
25 to
Gen X
65.
Jr.
Well, that's sticking.
He was born in 65. He is technically a Gen X, yeah.
Because that's the threshold.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah,
a
of course
cusp.
he is. There's no way I put that dude in Clint Eastwood's fucking.
But you know that all the boomers are going to hang on to him now that he's clean. They need someone to cling to in the MCU.
I think Clint Eastwood is technically a silent generation.
Yeah.
If he was born.
But he's closer to.
But
Same with John Wayne.
Oh my
John
God.
Wayne wasn't a boomer, but he is,
Oh my
he's a
God.
hero.
Clint Eastwood was born in 1930.
Yeah.
He could almost have served in World War II.
Yeah, but what's more boomer than yelling at a chair
Oh,
for
God,
45 minutes?
Forgot about that.
Never forget.
So,
It's a
all
beautiful
right.
moment in American history.
Yeah. All right, guys. You ready to go ahead and jump into the movie?
Mysterio forever.
Wiggum never. Okay, here we go. This is Spider-Man No Way Home. We open on J. Jonah Jameson telling the world that Peter Parker murdered Mysterio and his real name, or Spider-Man murdered Mysterio and his real name is Peter Parker.
Well, if it takes place almost, like in no time.
Yeah,
from the last
it's like
Spider-Man movie.
yeah, it's like exactly from that like last scene,
which is a fun choice
Yeah,
because
it's
of
cool.
the impact of that.
yeah. So him and MJ swing around. They're trying to get out of the public. We cut to Spider-Man and MJ and Ned and Aunt May.
They remind us that MJ really hates he really hates swinging around.
Yes,
Oh.
which I loved that scene. Like immediately, it was like this. After watching Venom, which was fine, like I liked Venom 2 fine, but and the Eternals was fine, but immediately I was like, wow, this is fun. This is a good fun movie. All of a sudden,
I mean, and it hits the
Right
ground
away.
running more than any movie, any MCU movie. I think
yeah,
like things are happening that are affecting his life.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I love we can take the subway, so they just go swinging in the
Swinging through
subway,
there.
yes.
and how that's actually worse.
So much worse. Oh my god. Yeah,
And
I mean,
yet-
it's one thing to like swing through the air and smell the wind. It's another thing to swing through the subway and smell warm piss.
yeah.
And
But-
dodge oncoming trains.
And then pop up out of the manhole, which at least that physics makes sense as opposed to 4 giant turtles just flying straight up out of a manhole with only their legs to propel them.
I assume that he like slingshotted through the manhole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he uses his own momentum.
Yeah. So yeah, they
Speaking of the momentum thing and the physics of the Ninja Turtles, I love when you see them swinging from the lampposts. You see them move. They're physical objects that are being acted upon by other physical objects. We didn't see that really previously to this.
This beginning sequence is some of the best Spider-Man swinging stuff I think we've ever seen. I mean, there was some good stuff in Amazing here and there, and there was some good stuff in a couple of the Toby Raimi movies.
It gets better each
Yeah,
movie.
but this swinging stuff.
This is the most realistic that it's ever been.
Yeah,
it feels visceral. In the theater, I just remember being like, I'm going to come see this again because it is just such an experience.
Yeah.
They take great pains to make him in a real world, and I always appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, they're getting interrogated by the Department of Damage Control. They get a lawyer, Matt Murdock. He's a really good lawyer. Oh, that was fun.
Happy and Aunt May have broken up.
Yes. Aunt May has broken up with Happy. Happy thought they were in love. She thought it was a fling. Matt Murdock gets the charges dropped from Peter, but they are still having to deal with the fact that he's been publicly outed as Spider-Man, and Happy is still facing some charges
because of missing technology.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Missing Stark tech.
Yeah.
Still investigating that.
Which is that just a seed planted for future things, or did that come back in this movie?
I mean, I thought they were referring to the tech at his condo.
Fabricator.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, also, Mysterio set it up so that he was killed by Stark Tech. He just made it seem that Peter made the call. So they're probably investigating Happy just in general. Like, where is all this technology going?
Like
more than just the fabricator in his apartment.
Like
that's obvious.
I understand
they mention it.
Yeah, I understand the public like falling for Mysterio, but I think just 10 minutes of investigating an actual government agency, actual detectives would figure out like, oh, Mysterio was full of shit.
Yeah, but it was all controlled by a pair of sunglasses. So of course damage control needs to know like, wait a minute. How were these drones deployed?
Yeah, good choice.
Now that Tony's not around to watch everything, what's going on at Stark?
It's a convenient lie to, easier just to let people continue believing that than put it all out there that Tony Stark's technology was stolen from a 14-year-old kid because Tony left the sunglasses.
Yeah,
And
good point.
there has to be a patsy. That's how our whole system is in real life. You know,
Mhm.
we just react. We're not proactive. And so there always has to be some,
Well-
which is kind of this movie is that like Peter helped save the universe. He helped bring back half the population and he still can't catch a fucking break. Like his life got worse when they found out he was Peter Parker, you know?
Well, and it's
Like, imagine
interesting.
that being a kid, like, now I helped save the universe. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to be with my friends. Can't even do that.
You
So
mentioned the
he's-
Patsy thing, and what's her face? Pepper's not around, so he's
Mm.
totally taking the fall for Stark because she's the CEO still.
It's falling unhappy.
Peter, he's got to be 17 or 18
Yeah, he's a senior.
at this time.
Yeah.
They call him for that comes up like in the next scene. They're calling him a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
And
He
he's
looks
getting
it.
defensive.
Yeah. Yeah, they're outed publicly. They go back to school. And they're celebrities in school now. Flash doesn't take the news that Peter is Spider-Man well. Animal
But then he
Burris.
does.
Yeah.
Him already having a book published
Yes.
is fantastic.
So
Flashpoint.
fast.
Well, and he doesn't know there are pictures in it because he clearly didn't write it.
Two spiders, one heart. One spider, two hearts.
Something like that. Yeah. And the whole like Mysterio was right from
and MWR
yeah.
nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
They should have made hats
Oh my god.
that just said MWR.
That would have been cool.
Straight
out of Compton.
So yeah, they're having a bad time at high school. Then we get a little bit of a montage about them receiving rejection letters from different colleges, their safety colleges. They're all trying to go to MIT together. Peter, MJ, and Ned. And they finally all get their MIT application letters back. They get rejected due to Spider-Man doing Spider-Man stuff.
Just before that, the Betty Brant interviews montage was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's adorable.
Which was extended in the extended version. There was a lot more time spent on the high school production stuff in the extended
And the interrogation with damage control. I noticed that, a lot of the
Yeah.
extra stuff
Yeah.
was that kind of thing, as opposed to like McGuire Garfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Betty Brant
It's
I was just going to
Sorry.
say Betty Brant, especially in this one, has given me real Reese Witherspoon election vibes.
Totally.
Oh, she always did. Like when she's getting mad at the other dude from the announcements in the other movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
She always gave me that Tracy.
Tracy
It's
Packer.
cool.
Yeah.
Tracy.
Cool how this movie was even able to make an interrogation scene fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way he tricked Ned.
Well, and both Aunt May and MJ saying, "Tell them nothing" in unison.
Yes.
Because just as a reminder, our American listeners,
Don't say anything without a lawyer.
don't say anything without
Yeah.
a lawyer.
Say anything.
If
Yeah.
you say anything,
Don't
say
even say hi.
lawyer.
Yeah.
I'd like to speak to a lawyer.
That's the only thing you ever say when you're being questioned by the police. Ever.
It's your right.
Yeah.
However, if you've been pulled over, don't try
Cooperate
this off
during
and
a
citizen
pullover, yeah.
bullshit
Yeah.
on the side of the road.
Yeah. The whole like, because sometimes your tail lights out and you have to
Yeah.
pay $50 and then you're done. You don't need to escalate it every time, guys.
If you don't talk to that guy, he might break your window and pull you out of your car.
Yeah.
But once you're in an interrogation room, don't say shit.
And again, these
Or on the side of the road.
yeah, and again, these rules.
for the most part. But
Again, this advice varies by location and skin color.
and situation.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Skin color, right?
Yeah. So this is the advice of like being of don't escalate when you're in the car is going to vary based on whether or not you're a white dude like us.
Your mileage may vary.
Yeah. So anyways, so Peter is upset that his friends are paying the price for him being Spider-Man. So he decides to go to Doctor Strange and ask him for help and cast a spell He initially thinks he should do like some sort of time travel spell.
Yeah, he wanted to go back and stop.
That is some real like teenager
back in
level
time.
logic there.
Yeah, the whole situation is when Steven has to remind, like, well, did you talk to MIT? Like, did you plead your case to MIT? Like, maybe they're being hasty, but that hadn't even occurred to him.
Yeah, no, he instantly goes towards let's do some magic.
Well, and you don't
Because
think you would
as
ask,
an adolescent,
I would ask Doctor Strange for a recommendation letter for MIT. He's a
Right.
pretty successful surgeon,
Yeah.
as well
Yeah.
as
Dr.
the
Steven
Sorcerer
Strange.
Supreme.
Yeah.
And Bruce Banner. You got a whole list of scientists who can, validate his science.
But that's the rub, is all three of them were getting into MIT. That's the only reason this came up, is because they were accepted, and then it was like, we don't like this notoriety that would come along.
That is the thing, yeah.
So it's like he didn't need to get into MIT. He was in. But they were like, no, we don't want Spider-Man in the Boston Commons.
Yeah.
and his cronies.
Yeah.
Is so
cronies.
yeah, so Strange
Did you catch the Doctor Strange's mug?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's cute.
What, the
Just-
Fox?
Oh, for Fox's sake.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, you know what I found interesting is that okay, so obviously in the trailer they CGI'd out the other Spider-Men. They we're doing a lot of misrepresenting what the film was, but they also CGI'd Strange's mouth. I noticed watching the trailer carefully to say crap instead of shit. Just like the
Yeah.
level of work they're doing for the trailer specifically is kind of crazy.
Right. And especially considering he could have just said both, like in the 2 takes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Scooby Doo this shit. Okay. And one for the PG. But no, you're right. It's like, fuck it.
I saw
You mean beep beep? No, I said it once. And they moved it.
I saw a an AI demonstration video online recently where they took an actor acting where they said fuck, and they CGI'd or they AI'd them doing it for broadcast where they said freak. They AI'd it in Spanish. They did all of these different like things where it's just like an AI just doing it.
Yep.
It's getting really, really freaky. AI.
We're not going to have actors at some point.
Yeah.
For
Well,
real close.
So back at the Sanctum.
Yeah,
Yes.
back at the Sanctum. So Strange, against Wong's advice, decides he can cast a spell that will make everyone forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Peter, though, interrupts the spell multiple times to request that the people close to him aren't included in it, which ultimately causes Strange's spell to begin to collapse in on itself or kind of go crazy, so he stops it.
So
Contains it.
the order,
last-
as I say, the order is MJ, Ned, Aunt May, Happy, and then basically everybody who knew I was Spider-Man before this happened.
Yeah.
uh-huh.
And that
Which-
that last part is the one that kind of creates the big issue.
Yeah, the tear. Yeah, but it's just such like you said, such a teenager, adolescent thing. Like if they were given a wish,
Right? And he
it's like,
didn't
I wish for I wish for wait, but it has wait.
Yeah, no, it has to yeah, he didn't think it through beforehand at all.
None of it. He didn't even call MIT. That's what I just love. 'Cause,
Yeah.
his first he was a kid, then he got these powers, and then almost immediately, Tony Stark enlists him to first chase this wizard. So, Peter has all these very confusing ideas of what reality can do for good reason.
Yeah.
He's been across the universe.
The past
half
3 years
population.
have been very traumatizing to this young man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and
He knows there's science and he knows there's magic and he doesn't know where they intersect. He knows, it's just.
Well, and no one's discussing the morals. He wasn't around for Civil War. He was, but I mean, like those
At the end.
discussions of morality and ethics.
well,
guiding-
yeah, exactly. He's still a kid. Well, and this has got to be a really confusing universe to live in for everybody in general.
Yeah. Soon there will be celestial sticking out, or is there already?
There already is sticking
already
out of the ocean, and no one's talking about it again. Anyway, so Doctor Strange tells Peter to just go talk to the MIT admissions officer. He figures out where they are from Flash. So he goes to find her and gets attacked by Doc Ock on a bridge. Doc Ock thinks that he's a different Peter Parker. The nanotechnology goes in during the fight. Peter does save the MIT admissions officer, but his nanotechnology goes into Doc Ock's mechanical tentacles and allows Peter to control them, which he uses to capture Doc Ock.
Which also effectively shelves that suit for the rest of the movie, which is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Until like the end. Or, well, no, the middle part, I guess. I guess at a certain point.
Yeah, when they fix his chip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then Green Goblin shows up and attacks. Doctor Strange teleports Peter back to the Sanctum Sanctorum right then, though, and locks Doc Ock up in a cell. Next to
Spidey's Peter's Peter's plan worked because in the saving of the vice chancellor, she's like, okay, I'm going to talk to admissions about your friends, and then I'm going to talk about you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just funny.
So effectively got all three of them into MIT by saving.
All he had to do was save her life.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, it's like the white racist who had everything turned around when a black guy saved his life. It has to be so like, well, my daughter married a Jewish guy, and now I'm not anti-Semitic anymore.
No,
I have a sister, so I would never assault.
It's like how Dick Cheney started supporting LGBT rights after his daughter came out. Like, fuck you, Dick.
Yeah. All I had to do was save her life. Didn't have to talk about us being geniuses, child geniuses from a prestigious science academy.
Yeah. So, Doctor Strange.
Sorry.
Yeah, they're in the basement. Doctor Strange explains that before he could control the spell, it summoned people from other universes within the multiverse, the ones that know Spider-Man's identity.
He makes one of my favorite little joke lines in the movie, where he's like, Peter's not quite catching it, and he turns to Doc Ock and he's like, "Do you have Spider-Man in your universe? Like, do you know who Peter Parker is? Is that him?" I'm not quoting it because it's really, but I just love that. Like, what a great way to put it. Like, do you know he's Peter Parker? Yes. Is that him?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So then he has Peter, MJ, and Ned all go and find the other Spider-Man people that came from the other multiverses.
He enhances the Spidey's gauntlet with a teleportation spell.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he can send them directly into the cells.
And it's funny because it almost shoots like a web.
Yeah.
I love that he uses it on Peter as the first example too.
Right.
Like, what a way to explain it instead of him telling him like, well, this will trap him in just here.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
Yeah.
Right. It was the same with the example with Doc Ock, scientist to scientist, like, here, see, moving
Perfect example of show, don't tell.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So Spidey heads out, and first he discovers Electro, and the Sandman is also there hanging out. Sandman immediately is like, "Yeah, sure, I'll help you." I capture Electro.
I love that though, because it shows that Peter's got different relationships with every villain. They don't all hate him and want him to die.
Yeah,
right. Because in his universe, Peter Parker helped out Sandman at the end of the movie.
Flint was a reluctant villain, if that is such a thing.
Yeah.
Like he just wanted to get to his daughter. And so they brought all these elements with these characters. And that's just really thoughtful fucking writing. It could have just been, and Sandman's here. And Electro's here. Electro really is just like, I like the way it feels. The energy is different here because it is. We have more tech.
Yeah.
We have Bluetooth. We have way more fucking energy in the air, if that makes sense. It doesn't, but you know what I mean.
Stark tech powers the world.
Yeah.
Right. the arc reactors. That's
The
what
arc
he's feeling.
reactor's got to be crazy for Electro.
I think that's what he's feeling. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, we saw Iron
He
Man
can taste
install
it
that.
immediately.
Well, and I loved later on where Doc Ock is holding the arc reactor, and he's like, the power of the sun in the palm of your hand.
Brings back his line.
Just shows how important Iron Man was in this universe. It's really cool.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
So Flint is glad to see him because he's like, you know, he could possibly help me.
Yeah.
Well, and doesn't question like, oh, you're not my Peter. Are you bad?
Well, he does.
Like,
He's like, what do you mean, my Peter?
yeah, like, but he doesn't think like, fuck, I immediately can't trust this guy. He's like, he's a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's probably
You
fine.
can trust Spider-Man.
So
Me
it
as
took
well.
me until the third viewing of this movie, the first one being when it came out, and then 2 this weekend. The third viewing to figure out why, when Peter goes out to the electric fields, why his suit is black.
Oh, because he turned it inside out. Yeah.
Right. He turned it inside out. It's got all the wires sticking out.
He couldn't
turned it
remove the
inside out.
stain.
The green paint stain from earlier, he couldn't get it out. And the nano suit is incomplete because there's a chunk of it controlling Doc Ock's arms, so he can't like completely cover himself.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So he can't use that.
Yeah, exactly.
So
It was-
just like a teenager, just turn it inside out.
Just turn it inside out.
Yeah,
smell
exactly.
And it was also a clever way to put him in a black costume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they did in Far From Home. You know, like he's in a different costume, but not making a big deal of it. Like bum bum bum. You know, just he looks different. Yeah. It's just
And
well
it
done.
makes me think of when Tony and Pepper were supposed to announce him to the world, and they had the Iron Spider suit, and it was this whole big reveal, and then we didn't get that.
Mm-hmm.
We did get it in Infinity War, kind of, with the like fanfare and stuff with the horns playing. But like you said, it's not him like, look at my new suit.
Right.
It's just his
It's
circumstantial.
not even a new suit. Like Al said,
He's just casually wearing another suit.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I forgot to wash my gym clothes. I'll just turn them inside
Yeah,
out.
I got to run the mile in jeans this week. Anyways, so we spend some time with the Green Goblin, who smashes his mask.
Stashes his glider.
Yeah.
That was an important part, the smashing of the mask. Because it's starting to talk to him again, and but he used a brick to smash this military grade helmet.
Yes.
You're right. His armor, which he keeps the rest of.
But he has the strength of Spider-Man, essentially.
That's true. He essentially took a super soldier serum.
The force applied through the brick, I guess. But I thought the same thing. Like, how did the brick not just crumble?
Yeah.
But like so many shots in the movie, this is also supposed to harken to the Tobey Maguire moment where he leaves the costume in the garbage can.
Yeah, just
and
little
walks away from it.
There's just little cinematic moments that they put in that mirror the previous movies.
But I do appreciate that Norman is, like he did putting the mask on the chair. He puts it on the edge of the dumpster so that they can have a 2-person conversation.
So the Green Goblin goes and finds Aunt May at her at Feast, her
the shelter.
The shelter,
Her
yeah.
shelter, food bank shelter.
Yeah. Peter shows up and decides that Green Goblin's all right. They take him back to the Sanctum Sanctorum. Where
he convinces them he's just a feeble, confused guy.
Yeah.
Huh? I know something's up, but what is it? I'm just so afraid.
Is he bullshitting, or is that actually
bullshitting?
Yeah, that's him bullshitting.
I think he's bullshitting.
I mean, we get indications later that he's figured it out from Jump Street.
Yeah,
sort of like the Spider-Man did.
I feel there was a comment that he made when in his mind he was full Goblin. I feel like the Goblin persona was backing off, to allow cowardly Norman Osborn to gain the trust of these people,
like
using him as bait, basically, for his trap.
But you have to be right about that, because otherwise his Peter Tingle would have gone off. Like it finally did.
Oh,
like Norman had to take his moment when he did, because Peter's plan was working. He was making everyone's powers inert, so he had to finally goblin out. So Al, you're right. Yeah, he had to have been putting off something.
That's a good
set
point.
Peter at ease.
Yeah.
Was the feeble cow, which there are 2 Normans.
Oh yeah. in literally 2 Normans. Like Strange puts Norman in a cell. And then we I love the fact that like when they're talking about Dr. Connors, they're like, you just tried to turn everyone to a lizard. What's up with that?
I also
and then he said to Ned, not Ned, I'm sorry, to Max Dillon, it's like, I can give you a makeover. Oh, and turn me into a lizard? Yes.
Yeah, he's just still all on board with everyone should be a lizard. Which is the funniest thing that any villain has ever tried to accomplish. I just want everyone to be a lizard. Oh, by the way, they're only going to be a lizard for a little bit. Part of the time they'll be lizards. Anyways.
Strange has the relic, the Machina de Cadavus.
Yes.
To reverse the spell. It's containing it, but he's using this device to reverse the spell.
Yeah, he's in the middle of doing it when Peter believes that they should cure the villain's powers
because they realize that they all die.
Yeah,
like it hadn't occurred to them, but their memories are coming back. It's like they were fighting Spider-Man, and then they showed up here.
Right, it's their lack of memories. Actually,
yeah.
Electro's delivery of "Oh shit, I was about to die" is the funniest part of that whole scene.
Mm-hmm.
I was gathering all that information, and just the quick realization that, like, oh, whoops, I missed that part.
Yes,
it's pretty great,
and it makes again the whole conceit of the movie just so childlike. Like they die in their universe. Like Peter, come on, like people die in this universe. They die everywhere.
But it's kind of a great, bigger symbol for with great power conversation.
That's what I mean.
Because he has the ability to change something for the better.
Something. Yep.
So he must, you know.
But it's that youthful Peter Parker, misguided, we'll just make a spell. Or we'll just do this. We'll just do that. He's right. He's usually right. But it's very youthful.
He's also not, weighing the possible consequences of making that choice.
Exactly.
Or the reality of death. Like, what are you postponing? You don't get it. Like, their universe is put together in a certain way. Ours is too, which is why we have to do this. But he can't see,
Which
sees the Aunt May, Uncle Ben.
That's an unanswered question that I'll bring up at the end. But what do those universes become because of that? It's great.
Right.
It's a great question.
Yeah. Well, and exactly. And it's funny how different. There's a couple unanswered questions about the universes. Anyways,
there are a few. Yeah.
So Peter takes the box, the magic box, and him and Strange have a big set piece here where Peter's trying to get the box away from Strange. They go and Strange pushes Peter out of his body. And
I loved this because we finally got to see the Spidey sense
working on its own.
The waves.
Well, the waves
off of his brain.
Like visually, we got to see the Spidey sense like you see in the comics all the time. It was really cool when he was separated from his body.
Yeah.
Seeing that.
But then also that's why he was able to move, which was perplexing to him and Strange, is the spider sense.
Yeah, there's just moving his body and he's not actually doing it himself. Yeah.
Yes. So much of it is as a response to the spider bite itself. It's not it's Peter is just that.
And to
quick.
Toby's line later, like, I don't do breathing.
Yeah. Yeah. So they go through the mirror dimension where Peter realizes it's just math and he's able to, or geometry, he's able to take advantage of that to capture Strange.
In a web.
In a web.
This is this is a great example of Peter sciencing his way out of problems.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a lot of that necessarily. We see a little bit of it at the climax of every movie, but this is probably the best example of him using science, and it's math, but like thinking analytically to solve a problem instead of strategically.
You're right. We haven't seen a lot of that because from his introduction, like I said, it's been magic and otherworldly technology.
You know what's cooler than magic? Math.
Yeah.
Like as a math teacher, I cheered.
You are mathemagical.
He understands the 3 dimensions of the mirror dimension like that. He just picks it up. He's just like, oh, I see what's happening. I see where the breakpoints are.
Mm-hmm.
It's an Archimedean spiral.
And that it's perception based. It's like you said, it's another dimension as opposed to another multiverse.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, okay, it still has to adhere to the bounds of our reality.
Yeah, exactly.
Little shit. I love it.
Yeah. So he comes back, convinces the villains to cooperate so that they can cure them of their powers and take them home.
Dr. Osborn thinks he can help. I'm a bit of a scientist myself.
He says the meme.
Okay.
He says the thing.
So fucking beautiful.
Also, the lizard acknowledges that this isn't much of an arrangement. Like, what are my choices? Die or go with you?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what
they are really
they're all
left
facing.
no choice. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Octavius is the only one that sort of wants to regain his humanity. Everybody else sees it as like, I'm gonna die, I guess.
No. Doc Ock was the most resistant. He's like, no, you're not going to do anything to me. He had to drag him there with his tentacles. Later, when he gets fixed.
It's true.
Yeah, later when he gets fixed, he's a lot more reasonable. Yeah. So they go back to Happy's condo. They use the Stark tech to first cure Octavius and so that the arms stop controlling him.
I love the visual gag of the machine as it opens, breaking through the kitchen wall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Happy didn't put it there to use it. Happy put it there because it's dangerous to have out in circulation.
Yeah.
He was making calls that he thought Tony would make.
Yeah. It's like, I got to keep
he's
this
like,
thing.
this thing can make whatever you want. Yeah, we got to take this.
Yeah.
We got to put it next to my CPAP machine.
Was it the same fabricator that had been on the plane?
Yes.
In the
That's what I
previous movie?
Mm-hmm.
He just dragged it from the airport back to his apartment.
Yeah.
Which makes, what was I going to say? Oh, I like the way that this Spider-Man, the most current in our universe Spider-Man, sort of goes back step by step and addresses the little like science magic that the other ones did, starting with this chip of Doc Ock's. Like they make it look like they did in the first Tobey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's almost like him going back and sort of band-aiding and polishing the wacky science from before. Like, now you just put this on Max's chest and it absorbs that extra energy. And they even make jokes about him falling in a vat of eels.
Yes.
So it's kind of a way of this Spider-Man, like, look, we're not that goofy. They even joke at the alliteration of names.
I fell into a vat of electric eels. Oh, I fell into a super collider. Got to be careful where you fall.
Yeah.
Right? They had to address how wonky that shit was. And they did it with, like, Tom Holland. Like, here, I rebuilt this goofy-ass chip from whatever that.
Well, yeah, and Norman Osborn, he makes like a green mist serum to go into him. Like, yeah. So yeah, but before he can give Norman the cure, so he puts the cure on Electro, which is going to take just a little bit of time to work. Then before he can give it to the Goblin, his Spidey sense goes off, and he realizes that Osborn is still the Goblin. So he attacks Spider-Man. Electro decides
he gives a rousing speech as far as it's not a curse. Gods don't have to choose.
Yeah.
I really like the sound design around the cure for Electro being this quiet, just beep, beep in the background.
Yeah.
And then we get Peter's spider sense going off. Because if it had just been silence, I don't think it would have worked as well.
Mhm.
We had a
No,
countdown.
you're right, the beeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like,
And
it
then
was
everyone's
time.
holding their breath.
Yeah.
Because this kid's been running the operation.
hmm
You know, like Osborn's been assisting him. And so, yeah, everyone in the room is like, what's up, Peter? And I just love it. I love that, like, old school music video, you know, the GoPro strapped to his chest. Just,
Yeah.
he's walking around the room almost drunk, or, you know,
Yeah.
I just loved it. He's like, where is this coming from?
Yeah. He's trying to figure
Because,
out.
like Al said, and you guys said, the difference between the Goblin and Norman is like, obviously it was slowly seeping in, because it was going to get to Norman with the, you know, the injection to take his power away.
Yeah.
Starts seeping in. Really well done.
Yeah, absolutely. So the uncured villains all start attacking and escaping. Electro, Sandman, and the Lizard all run off. At that time, J. Jonah Jameson shows up with a camera because he got a tip that Spider-Man was in the building. So he's filming as this happens.
He had a guy following the feast place.
Yeah. But yeah, they react to seeing the Lizard.
Yeah. And at that point, there's a big fight.
One of the best mano-a-mano fights in movies, if you ask me.
Between
like,
Peter,
Apollo Creed, and Rocky level. Like,
yeah,
between Goblin and Spider-Man, just punching through the floors, and we see Spider-Man take punches that we haven't seen him take yet.
Yeah,
and he fought Thanos.
Yeah, absolutely. As they get to they fall down through the floors to the lobby. May gets injured. But and
manages to stick Osborn with the cure, and it doesn't do anything
because she doesn't get to plunge it. She doesn't get to put it into him all the way, right?
I thought it did. I think it just
didn't work.
Yeah, it just didn't work.
I swore he just ripped it out and you could still see the green.
No, he pulled. I'm pretty sure he pulled it out and it had emptied into him.
I mean, it would make sense because they have to remake the serum.
Yeah. So then May and Peter are about to leave. She gives him the great power comes great responsibility line and then dies because of her injuries.
It was the most apt that line was delivered. I don't mean by an actor, I mean in a scene. Like, that one made the most sense because he tried to convince Peter that he was just being manipulated by his do-good aunt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so she was literally using that to explain, like, no, it's not my crusade. You know, like, this is almost the scene with Cap and Loki in the first Avengers kind of thing. You know, like, I've seen men stand above other men. So it's that kind of thing of, you have this. It's not my moral crusade.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even yours. It's bigger than you, Peter.
And
instead of just dying on a sidewalk, like, hey, by the way.
Fair. But in response to Norman's argument that gods don't need morality, like, who's going to stop me?
Yeah, exactly. We cut to Ned and MJ, who were given the box earlier and told to, if Peter's plan doesn't work, to go ahead and hit the button. They're back at Ned's house. He discovers he accidentally discovers he can create portals because he has Strange's sling ring on. Mm-hmm. And he creates two, and we get Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire entering the film.
Both aware that they're somewhere else.
Yeah.
When we get Garfield in, and MJ throws bread at him until he proves that he can stick to the ceiling.
Yeah. Her whole delivery in this scene, just crawl around. The way she stumbles on her own words in a Paul Rudd delivery sort of way, crawl around.
No, watching, I have become more and more convinced Zendaya is like one of those few people that has like the it thing, like the movie star factor. Like, she is just absolutely mesmerizing every time she's on screen.
Yeah, she does it all. And this especially, her comedic timing is
so good.
Really, really good.
She's a natural.
Absolutely.
She is a natural, and she somehow brings more heart to a trio of characters who are nothing but heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ned and Peter are not cold, but somehow Zendaya is still the emotional center of things.
Absolutely. Jude made me watch a couple of the old 2000s Disney movies.
The show
that she was in. Yeah. She was on shows and Disney.
Grew up liking her.
Yeah. But because of nostalgia. He made me watch a couple of them over the last couple of years, and even back then, she comes on screen and you're like, oh, instantly she's better than all of these other Disney kids, just instantly.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, they get the other two Peters. They find Peter. They find Tom Holland on the roof of the high school, and he gets to meet the other two Peters.
At this point, because we hadn't gotten to the part in the movie where they decided on Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 3, I was calling him Young Pete, Middle Pete, and Older Pete.
Yeah.
The Adventures of Pete and Pete. But it's it makes sense. It's what you said earlier. You've got the Gen X Spidey.
Older Pete was abbreviated to Opie.
Are you down with OPP? Original Peter Parker?
You know me. Yeah, so they all...
But just I guess there's nothing much to talk about in a critical way, but just the introduction of these characters, they literally stepped into the universe. Brilliant. Yes. Brilliant story writing. Not some, there wasn't a Bifrost type tunnel or some sort of, they literally just stepped in. They just stepped in. Here, we're in your universe now. Okay, thank you. And they show, not tell.
And Opie had been watching on the news and knew there was another Spider-Man in this universe and just sensed that he needed his help.
Yeah.
So they've been trying to find him.
Absolutely.
Amazing Spider-Man knew something was up, but not quite. Because he's he realizes the multiverse exists. And he's having his little moment of what matter displacement and interdimensional,
What, you have magic here too?
Yeah.
Whereas older, OPP was just he figured it out. Almost like Into the Spider-Verse, that Peter Parker, the one who's already been divorced and everything that, he just knew without knowing.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the people that are critics of this film, and there's not as many as there are of a lot of the MCU movies, complain about it all just being fan service. But yes, there's fan service, but it's done really well, really well, and
thank you.
It's a finely crafted web of Spider-Man fan service.
Absolutely.
I think some people think they're supposed to hate art and be convinced otherwise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, tell me why this is good. It's tell me why it sucked. I don't understand. Yes, it is fan service. What is this business if not that?
And I think but the fan service without an emotional response is the thing. If you're just making fan service, that's one thing. But to do it and to have it evoke a reaction every time is really impressive. And I think they were bad.
I think it depends on the weight of the product. You know what I mean? Freddy versus Jason was fan service, but nobody really cares about that. Do you know what I mean? I grew up with Freddy, but I don't care.
Well,
I grew up with Spider-Man. I care.
A good example of fan service that I found to be dumb was at the end of the Evil Dead reboot with what's her face, redhead chick, from 10 years ago, when in an after credits scene they just have Bruce Campbell just standing, and he just turns to the camera and looks straight into the camera and says groovy. That does nothing. What is the point of that?
Yeah. Yep. I don't think this was just hollow fan service. It was emotionally brilliant.
Yeah. No, it hit emotionally. It was the best kind of fan service. This is what fan service should be. So anyways, the Peters bond, and they decide that they're going to go ahead and try to save the villains. After all, they do some science.
They've all lost somebody, and they all share the great responsibility credo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They've dipped into rage.
I love
in ways this kid can't understand.
I love Andrew Garfield's arc in this movie of like because his two movies were really shit on for like 10 years, and I love how much they're like, no, you're amazing, which is both, you know, a meta nod and also like we're reclaiming you. You didn't suck as Spider-Man. Those movies weren't well written, but you were a great Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah,
it was. And I like that they made it about him failing Gwen, because Uncle Ben died in those too.
Yeah.
But, you know, Toby had it be about Uncle Ben. He had it be about Gwen. And then there's Aunt May, which we've said before how thankful we were that there wasn't an Uncle Ben scene in these franchises.
Oh my God,
and then bam, hits you in the gut with Aunt May instead.
I know, so good.
The 3-movie origin story was a surprise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really was.
Especially with how this ends, like, oh my God, this is amazing. You know, so to speak.
I'd say it's spectacular.
Young Pete thinks that you can repair the devices for Dylan and Marco. Middle Pete cured Connors before, so he can. He says he can do it again. And older Pete, he's been thinking about a cure for Osborn for a long time.
So he thinks he can do it.
Wants to give it a try.
And what I find really, well, I'll leave it for unanswered questions. So they go and they decide to lure the villains to the Statue of Liberty, which is in the middle of getting renovated. They're putting a cap shield on the torch.
Yeah.
And they don't make a big deal of that beforehand. Mm-hmm. And they do away with it before the movie's over. Like, how brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a big like publicity thing. Like, I think Jonah Jameson mentions it in passing.
Yeah.
But then they get rid of it. They have it break.
Yeah.
It's just
we
don't have to live with seeing that.
There were snippets on the radio. There was like a radio opinion. And then the kids were all making their versions of what the Statue of Liberty should look like. This was way long ago. And one of them had turned it into Mysterio.
Awesome.
So, all right. They lure the villains there. There's a big action set piece. Peter.
Before which, the three are all together and they discuss the organic web fluid.
Yes, we finally get to address how
because
weird
we
it is.
hated that. Remember how much we all hated that?
Does it come out of anywhere else?
Yeah. And then
I was
middle
going to say,
Pete,
with the Spider-Verse movie, it made it easy to accept that there is a wide variety of Spider-Man outcomes.
Yeah.
And middle Pete's like, I just really want to see the holes.
I love the bad back.
Yes.
The web block.
Which is also a meta nod to the fact that Toby hurt his back while filming Seabiscuit and was having that trouble in Spider-Man 2.
Wow.
Yep.
This like quiet moment. So we have Aunt May dies, and then we get the quiet moment of two Peters arriving and them coming to save Peter, right? And then we get them teaming up and talking and discussing and all this stuff. And then we get them at the location where Peter draws the villains to. And then we get more quiet conversation with them.
I know. I'm so glad that's why it's not just fan service. Because they swapped stories and they swapped heart. And it was just watching their silhouettes come down off that steeple or off that water tank or whatever. And it was just.
They could have given us 45 minutes of them swinging through New York together, fighting crime.
Yeah.
And the fact that they didn't was a choice. It was a strong choice.
They spent some time building each other up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the whole like where Toby is talking to Andrew and he's like, no. I just feel like the self-talk is bad.
Right.
You know, you're amazing.
Yeah, stop taking emotional inventory.
And we get an intact Spider-Man. That's the first live-action Spider-Man we've seen that isn't seriously troubled. He has boundaries. So is there somebody for you? Yeah, it's complicated, but yeah.
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 Like, don't give up. That's the older Peter. Yeah, he got the girl.
He's a 40-something Spider-Man. He's still doing it. He's making it work. He's just being Spider-Man.
Because that's what they do.
Yeah,
that's what they do.
So they Peter 1 and Peter 2 are able to cure Connors and Marco.
I'm sorry. One more little brilliant moment is them realizing that, how solitary a hero Spider-Man can be and how they're not used to working together.
They're getting
they
each
think the
other's
Avengers
way.
is a band.
Is that a band?
Are you in a
they
band?
keep getting in each other's way. Yeah, because he's never had to coordinate, especially with another Spider-Man.
But no. So no, I thought it was awesome that Andrew Garfield, Middle Pete is the one that says, "Are you in a band?" And he's so impressed by it because he's the one who plays guitar in his world. That's a character trait they gave him. He was a musician.
Right.
That's right. I didn't even put that together.
So clever, man.
I love that they found a way to make our Peter. What would you call him? YP?
Young
Pete?
Young Pete.
Yump.
Gen Z Pete.
Gen Z Pete.
Yeah, Z Pete.
He's the leader because he's the only one that's been on a team, and he has the requisite skill to lead the team of 3 Spider-Man.
And the home court advantage kind of thing.
Yeah.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of it just being
Toby should be number 1, but no, it's his universe. They defer to him.
Yeah. So Doc Ock arrives. He helps with subduing Electro. Meanwhile, Ned accidentally frees Strange from the mirror dimension. There's that. The Goblin appears, and he unleashes the spell from the box, which breaks apart the barrier between universes. We get the scene where MJ is falling, and young Pete can't catch him. So Andrew Pete, Middle Pete, is able to save him, which is something he wasn't able to do for Gwen, which is a great moment.
And he acts the shit out of that moment when he sets her down and she's just looking at him like, are you okay?
But did you notice that he even changed his approach? He knew how to catch her this time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas with Gwen, it was like in the comic, he tried to stop her with the web and it snapped her spine. Whereas this, he's like, I have to grab her and land.
Yeah, and roll and cushion the fall. No, no, that moment generally got me a little misty-eyed. Like, that was amazing.
It worked. That's fan service that works.
Yeah,
He's been thinking about that for years.
For years.
Yeah,
exactly.
How he would change it.
Something else in this moment when Strange comes out of the Grand Canyon. I've been trapped in the Grand Canyon for 18 hours.
To that.
Yeah, so mad.
To Loki.
But Ned says to him, Peter's plan is working. Look. And you can see Connors is like, what the fuck, man? I was just a lizard. I want to be a lizard again. What happened?
I'm so into being a lizard.
The complexity of his relationship with Peter, you can see Strange being like, fuck, man, I underestimate this kid at every turn.
I also love the way
the
2 Spider-Men come to his defense with Doctor Strange. He's like, I've been dangling over the Grand Canyon. They don't know what that means, but they're like, he's Peter's friend. Like, you were at the Grand Canyon? You could have used your help.
We start to see there's others coming through from the other dimensions who know Peter's identity. I don't think we ever get a good enough view of any of the figures to make out who any of them are.
Craven and Scorpion.
I think Scorpion's been introduced. Craven's coming.
But we could see from their silhouettes. That was the 2 that I could tell.
Those are the 2 I saw.
Craven, the 2 that I saw, I didn't see Scorpion, but I did see Craven and Rhino.
And Rhino. There was a Rhino. We saw a little bit of a protuberance.
We almost got Pauly G.
I just thought a Russian guy in a rhinoceros.
That would have been funny if we'd had like a really brief Pauly G. Who's like, shit, guys.
This movie does such a good job of cutting through all the bullshit and giving us a quick and easy answer.
Mm-hmm.
He steals the box and puts a grenade in the box. And the box gets snagged from him, and the box explodes, releasing the spell again.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be like, because we didn't close the thing over a certain period of time or some on-screen explanation. Like you visually see, oh, damn, whoops.
Yep.
And the whoops And that's the Goblin's like little sneaky little, like that's a character thing that it was a pumpkin bomb.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't expect this universe to be foiled by something so goofy.
Yeah.
It just fits.
So at this point, Strange is trying to hold off the other universe people.
Is that an incursion? Question mark.
Kinda. I mean, it's pretty big.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So young Pete decides
it could be a way to bring them all into Secret Wars. Sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah.
like you're right. It is an incursion. And in the beginning of Secret Wars in the books, they start out villains and heroes fighting each other before they realize the Beyonders involved. So yeah, pretty cool. I bet it's an incursion. I bet Kang brings as many of these people as he came back.
Yeah. So Peter's gonna kill the Goblin, but then old Peter comes and stops him. He gets stabbed by the Goblin. But Peter 3 then does help inject the Goblin with the cure, and restoring him to sanity.
That's what you call it.
Yeah, as close as Willem Dafoe can ever get to it. Anyways,
don't turn your back on Willem Dafoe. Has nobody learned this?
Not for a second. So he's making a sequel to Nosferatu now.
Saw that. I'm ready, dude.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Peter 2 says he's good. I've been stabbed before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So then Peter 1 realizes the only way to protect the multiverse is to erase Peter Parker from everyone's memory. Doctor Strange says he'll do it. Peter goes and kisses MJ and tells her and Ned that he's going to find them and tell them everything. Strange casts the spell, and everyone goes back to their own universes. And then we cut to a few months later. Or was it like a week later? Something like that.
It was a few weeks because it was Halloween at the beginning of this movie.
Oh, and now it's Christmas.
Approaching.
We're getting
It was
close.
after Halloween.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's after Halloween. Yeah, that was right after.
Sasha hadn't taken down the Halloween decorations at the
restaurant yet.
The Doctor Strange string lights.
Yeah, this is somewhere around between Thanksgiving and Christmas at this point.
There was a moment where we heard Christmas music playing when we were in the mirror dimension.
He swings over the Christmas tree in Rockefeller Center.
Yeah.
Well, that's at the very end, though. So, but
in the mirror dimension, there is Christmas music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so yeah, he's practicing telling MJ about what happened, but he shows up and he sees how her and Ned got into MIT, and he decides he's not going to tell them. He's just going to let them keep forgetting him.
But she did say to him, I found you once, I'll find you again, which is
she has the
romantic.
Black Dahlia necklace on.
Yeah.
It's broken. And,
they're both so smart. There's no keeping them from this secret, which I'm excited to see them reveal over.
No, she's trying to figure something out in that moment.
Yeah.
She could have just been weirded out by his weirdness.
Yeah.
But she's trying to figure something out.
He quotes her to herself.
Yeah.
Like, what? How did you
about the disappointment?
Yeah.
How did you know that? I was thinking that exact thing.
Yeah, and she's definitely
and he says his name to her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Peter Parker. She goes, "Hi, Peter Parker. Can I get you something?" Like
right.
they're establishing something for her to grab onto.
Absolutely. And then he goes to Aunt May's grave where he has a brief talk with Happy. And he decides he's going to just keep on being Spider-Man as best he can.
He rents his own apartment.
Yeah, we get a scene of him
walking through that threshold, just like walking into a new dimension. He's becoming adult.
Yeah,
Peter.
and we see him in his shitty New York apartment. He doesn't have any of the Stark stuff. He doesn't have, just like Peter.
He doesn't have his high school diploma.
Yeah, he's studying
the entire educational system forgot that Peter Parker exists.
Yeah, he's studying for his GED.
He makes a new suit.
He has no permanent record.
Yeah, he does. We see the sewing machine. He's making a spandex suit.
He makes 3 really difficult decisions before even getting to the apartment, not reminding any of those 3 people that he existed. Because he could have told Happy, like, hey, man, you might not remember me, but I was also friends with your friend who died. I worked with Iron Man. I'm Spider-Man. Do you remember when we fought Thanos? Like, I was there with him.
It's that great responsibility because he saw what happened to Happy's life
and
what he was discovered. It's just like, I can't get involved.
What is interesting is that we do see J. Jonah Jameson ranting about who is Spider-Man. And so, I mean, the world remembers Spider-Man. Everyone knows what Spider-Man is, but nobody knows Peter Parker.
Nobody knows who Peter Parker is.
Yeah.
They didn't just forget he's Spider-Man. Yeah, that's why he has to get his GED. He doesn't even have transcripts anymore.
Right. So we get
persona non grata.
We finally have the stakes around his secret identity. Of course, without Aunt May, which will be interesting. Because it's always a twist on the original Spider-Man.
What a brilliant reset. Now they can do what they want. It's just
well, he's at that place where at the beginning they where he was at the beginning of the comics. He's just Spider-Man in that shitty apartment, trying to make it work, swinging through New York, being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
That's what I mean. Like when he walks into Phase 5 of the MCU, he's going to be an adult.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to we've seen little Peter. Now he's going to be Tony-esque.
I'm so excited for that because they're all not going to know who he is, and he's going to keep his identity secret from everybody. Right. I have a feeling that like Thor will know, or someone will be like, "Oh, Peter Parker," and he'll be like, "Dude, let me explain. Don't tell anybody." But us as the audience will know.
Here's me.
I just said keep your full mouth shut, Thor.
Just feeds him some more bread.
Yeah. So credits roll. Then in a mid-credit sequence, we get to see Eddie Brock getting drunk at a Mexican bar as he's trying to figure out this universe. Him and Venom get zapped back to their own universe, although there's a little tiny bit, a little drop of Venom left in this one.
A dollop, would you say?
Yes.
A dollop of Venom.
Eddie's lines are hilarious because he's just like, so let me get this straight. There was a purple alien and he really likes stones. Let me tell you, aliens don't like stones.
They like eating brains.
Yeah. Just like, oh, how quaint Thanos was.
And the Venom Eddie relationship of, we're drunk, Eddie. It's time to get up and go. You're talking too much.
You told me Lethal Protector was stupid. Because it is.
And then post credits we get like a one last
trailer.
Yeah. Yeah, we get one last high school bit with some cafeteria safety advice.
Well, it showed there were all the photos from their trips, memories of Midtown.
And they all had like Peter just cut out of the photo right at the very edge. You could just see like his head.
Or obscured by like a hat or whatever.
Yeah.
It was a pigeon. He was right in the middle of the frame, but there was a bird flying in front of his face.
So this was after the Eddie scene and before the Doctor Strange multiverse?
No, this was the very end.
Trailer?
This was the before the trailer, yeah. Yeah, this was the post-credit sequence.
Well, this is the post-credit sequence in the extended version.
Have it.
Oh, okay. That's the extended version.
The theatrical version ran a Doctor Strange trailer.
That's the one that I was watching because I had watched the unedited, but I was like, no, I should watch the theater.
I guess I didn't realize I was watching the extended version. I didn't look carefully
That's what
enough.
Hulu served up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. That didn't come up at all, and I didn't skip ahead. I sat through excruciating.
Okay, so it was in the theatrical version, it was just the Multiverse of Madness trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a trailer. I mean, it wasn't like a hint or anything.
No, it was just the trailer.
It was shot for shot.
It was just straight the trailer, yeah. And that's it. That is it for Spider-Man No Way Home. Okay, some unanswered questions. So
I just had... Oh, you got some. Go ahead.
Well, no, it's mostly about the multiverse stuff, and it's not like anything that's like bad. It's just like, I wonder what that is. Were they actually the villains from those specific Spider-Man's universes, or were they from very close ones? Because, if they go back to the same universe and the Green Goblin doesn't die, then that changes what happens with Doc Ock, which changes what happens with Sandman. Like, and that old Peter is no longer going to be that same old Peter. Like, that gets really messy unless they are from just very close parallel universes.
I think it's intentionally messy. I think you're right. I think they are the actual ones from that universe, and that it would change everything. And that's part of the problem, because this was the first intro into the multiverse, and they're showing us how not even Steven understands.
But also there's some sort of time travel involved, because they came from much earlier. So by the rules of
the villains from Tobey's universe returned to their existing moments in time, but then quickly became diverging realities.
That's like America can.
Yes. So they become new multiverses.
Just like in Endgame, those become new Yes, those are split timelines.
Timeline splits, kind of thing.
Because there is no TVA, fingers crossed, I think that's how it works, to trim those timelines. They're going to exist.
But those timelines...
So that's my question is, like, are those guys now allies of Spider-Man?
Well, those timelines...
Or did they forget that Spider-Man even existed because the spell made everyone forget that Peter Parker existed?
I think that's where it's...
And is that every Spider-Man?
Well, they wouldn't forget Spider-Man exists. They'd forget that Spider-Man's Peter Parker. But also, those timelines probably wouldn't even get trimmed unless they were to lead to...
a Kang?
To Kang. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, we probably won't see these actors again. But Kang may, so like you said, their timelines were changed. So we could guess maybe Doc Ock doesn't become Doc Ock, or he doesn't die and becomes the superior tech Doc Ock. Do you know what I mean? Oh my God,
I would love for a superior Spider-Man.
And so if they, you know what I mean? Like, if it is an incursion and Kang starts bringing these characters, they won't necessarily be Alfred Molina or something, but so I think it fucks up their dimensions as well.
Well, yeah.
Nobody knew that enough.
It creates the divergent timelines, because it was time travel as well as multiverse travel for those.
I don't see it as
ones.
Messy. I see it as thread, like the tapestry being woven.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because we saw Max Gargan introduced through the Vulture, but he never became Scorpion. But then we see Scorpion coming from another dimension, yet we've never seen Scorpion in a movie.
Yeah, makes sense.
We've seen Max Garden. So, I think it is creating all these divergent timelines and incursions.
Yeah.
They just don't realize it. We don't know what state the dimension Tobey Maguire's going back to.
I'm curious, and what time... Because he's from our present point in his Spider-Man universe.
Right.
He's seen all of these events happen already.
Well, but his would remain the same, because when they went back, they created split universes.
Yes.
So his past is going to remain the same there. He just knows that there's now a split universe in which the Goblin got to live.
So, I mean, there's also a split universe where Harry and Peter are still best friends because Norman didn't die.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm very curious about those implications. I wonder if Through the Spider-Verse, or whatever it's called, is going to touch on any after effects of this movie. I doubt it.
Yeah.
But it would be really interesting to see, because supposedly all three of these actors are voice acting as themselves, as their characters.
Oh, interesting.
Well, we saw them fly through an animated dimension in multiverse.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is like, not only do they not know the multiverse, they're reckless with it. So all of the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is basically Steven learning the lesson of with great power comes great responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, wait, this changes things when I fuck around with stuff?
Well, and the potential for incursions is the real threat of those
I don't think you're supposed to meet yourself. I think that element is to say, like, time travel is not like Back to the Future shit, but I don't think you're really supposed to hang out with yourself.
Yeah. So, all right.
You'll go blind.
I just had one more, so it could be explained away by they didn't have access to all the Stark tech, but he has that like carbon-based little like 3D printer that can seal up wounds. We've seen Iron Man do that. How convenient that would have been for May.
Yeah,
the ambulances were just a few feet away.
Yeah,
I know it doesn't save your life, but it like cauterizes, and
that would have been pretty handy for
organic material. That's how Vision was made. Like
They
an
really-
organic 3D printer.
They tiptoed around her death being more, I don't want to say graphic, but more like of a visceral thing, because she's like up and talking, clearly in shock, and then she dies. They could have had her very badly injured in a way that we could have seen. And I'm kind of
Catches that glider in the back, the lower back. She catches it, so it's not an instantly fatal wound. But she's bleeding out, but it's behind her, so he doesn't even see it.
Yeah, that's true. It is behind.
She gets hit with that glider pretty hardcore. I mean, it's animation, but it's pretty well done.
Yeah.
She gets, boom, thrown.
Any more unanswered questions or final thoughts, guys?
Why wasn't it an hour longer?
Seriously. I would have watched them play in a band.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know where I want to rank it, but
I want to go with your ranking first. I'd like that.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at our list here. We've got our highest ranking Spider-Man is at number 16, right under.
What's our current number one movie?
Is Endgame.
I like it more than Endgame.
Wow. I don't know if I like it more than Endgame, but it's really, really good.
It fires on every cylinder that I want a comic book movie to fire on. Endgame felt necessary. This was just fun.
I like it more than Logan, is where I would put it.
Sorry, I wanted to mention a couple of nods to just visuals. We saw Electro at some point. The electricity created the star.
Oh yeah, his mask.
Yep, star thing.
Yeah.
And we finally got the purple hoodie on Green Goblin.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah,
I remember initially watching the trailer thinking that we might get 2 Green Goblins, and I'm very glad that we didn't go that route.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, and a good just film symbolism. Smash that helmet.
But
this ain't your dad's Green Goblin.
Those were things that elevated this movie for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that they fought. Like I said, that there was a second in this universe where the Statue of Liberty was going to have Cap's shield, and then they, in the same movie, destroyed that. But then also, that's where his final battle happens, is on Cap's shield, and the Avengers are dead, and he's no longer a hot
symbolism, baby. Fighting on the back of that shield. Oh, yeah.
Just
because it was frustrating, being like, why would you put a shield on the Statue of Liberty?
Yes.
Right. It sounds like a weird, hasty, tribute that we love to run to. And I love that we didn't have to see that.
Yeah.
We didn't have to
recently
see
went
the
back,
skyline.
They changed the final shot in Miss Marvel because it has a skyline of New York with the green Statue of Liberty. They went back and CGI edited it into a bronze finish.
Nice.
To keep the timelines all intact, because everybody obviously is going to be poring over the details as we get further and further into the Kang thing.
Right.
So sorry, where were we on the ranking?
So Brian likes it in between Logan and Infinity War. Josh likes it at number 1. What are your thoughts, Al?
This was so good.
It's definitely better than Infinity War, I think. That was a real placeholder movie to me. I don't know. I wasn't as emotionally impacted by those 2 movies, and I know it's everything that it was leading up to.
This, I wouldn't mind putting it at number 1.
I have a hard time.
I would not be opposed, but
I have a hard time putting it above Endgame. I really do. How about we split?
What did you like about Endgame?
I was really emotionally impacted by by just the culmination of everything. It's hard for me to remember anything outside of Star Wars or Lord of the Rings that got me as emotionally as like the end, especially the beginning of the end scenes with Cap and the hammer and the assemble moment.
It had some moments for sure.
This did share in a lot of those kinds of elements, though. When the Spider-Man stepped through the portals, I remember the crowd
those were
just erupting.
How about we split the difference? We put it in between Endgame and Infinity War at 2.
I'm into that.
since
I really like Infinity War because they just crushed everybody for a year and a half.
They decided.
I love watching a villain win, but that does not make it a better movie than this movie.
Infinity War seemed like it was exciting because of that battle at the end, but if you go back and watch it, it's pretty low.
Yeah,
I don't know. Not as
it ends like a superhero movie does with a big battle. Just they lose.
Yeah, it's Thanos. Thanos is the protagonist.
But against a bunch of like CV. But no, in Infinity War, they're really just fighting a bunch of CGI like aliens.
Oh no, that's absolutely lowers it.
I have no patience for them.
Yeah, and Thanos just walks through our heroes like it's nothing.
It just pops up at the end.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Where we think perhaps he sees Kang.
So
we're gonna retcon that in, like where he sticks the Stormbreaker into his chest.
Yeah.
Right before he like finally dies, he has a look on his face, and then of course he comes immediately back. Anyway.
So.
Well, I want to talk about that off air.
Yeah. So do can we?
I'm okay with 1 or 2.
Compromise and have it at 2. Can we live with that? All right.
you would be amazed.
All right. We're putting Spider-Man No Way Home at number 2 on our big list. Which
feels right.
Yeah, which means it is time to close the book on this one. And next week on Harmless Phosphorescence, we will be watching The Batman.
All right.
The Batman next week.
What up, Vengeance? Whoop.
So that's it. We are getting closer and closer to the present day on our list here, guys. 7 to go. That's next week on Harmless Phosphorescence. Until then, thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. This has been your host, Throw Smiley, and I'm off to deal with some existential crisis stuff.
That's funny. I'm Josh Cece, and I'm going to go play with my Peter Tingle.
I'm Brian Lesh, enemy of national landmarks everywhere.
There's a conspiracy theory that I was in sync at one time. I'm Alaric Weber.
That is. You remember that urban legend?
That's true. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.